Oh, you're gonna
Boom! Boom goes the JQ.
boom goes the JQ, son.
Unspeakable meme, KB squared. Man, that was epic. Tell him about it. Tell him about it.
Man, tell him, my friend, dude. So something that's on a lot of people's mind, obviously, but Dr. Michael Scheuer, who's a 25-year CIA intelligence officer, he was an operator, ran operations for the CIA, former chief of the Bin Laden unit. Okay, this guy made it his life to chase down the most wanted man in America, in the world, really, in the world. And he found him 3 separate occasions, and on the third time, he told Bill Clinton, and there's an interview with Bill Clinton himself about this, like, why did you let Bin Laden go? Because they had informed him that he was kind of in Tora Bora, so they knew exactly his location. They could have gone after him. Bill Clinton told him, stand down and let him go. And then we had 9/11, right? So that's Michael Scheuer. Michael Scheuer also had a book that Bin Laden himself had on his bookshelf. And there's you guys can go on to YouTube and find these interviews where they interview Michael Scheuer about that. Like, hey, Bin Laden's got your book. How does that make you feel that the terrorist thinks, highly of you, or that it's like, dude, because of my work, they understand what I'm saying is truth. They're attacking us because we're doing all these things, especially with the unconditional support for the Israelis, having our military bases in Saudi Arabia, so forth and so on. So that's a little bit of the background on who Michael Scheuer is. Bin Laden told George Bush, read Michael Scheuer's book. It'll explain a lot so that we stop fucking attacking your people. Because
so he became a thorn in the side of the Zog.
Absolutely. He used to be an asset when he was with the Mujahideen fighting the Soviets.
No, I mean Scheuer.
Scheuer is an absolute thorn in the side of the Zog. As a matter of fact, he was in a lot of congressional hearings, which you can still find on YouTube. He's been on Fox News, CNN, you name it. And he's constantly called Israel a cancer on the United States.
Canard.
Goive. That's going to be a great shirt, which you guys can pick up. But that's Michael Scheuer. He understands foreign policy, man. This guy, look, this guy's been in it for decades and decades. He's been studying this shit since the 70s. He also has a podcast where General Thomas McInerney on the 2nd of November, and you guys can go into 2 mics, TWO mics, MIKES. It's available on iTunes and other places. McInerney said that basically they're going to use cyber warfare, hammer and scorecard, algorithm software to flip the votes and steal the election. One day before the election, by 1 to 3% of the votes, literally happened. This is who Michael Scheuer is. Okay, that's just to give you his background. He's an incredible person. Yesterday, he dropped a bombshell, bro. He has a blog called non-intervention2.com, non-intervention2, the number 2.com. And he smashed on the JQ, and he went ham. I mean, this is something that every person should read. He hits every nail on the head, and he doesn't hold back. He smashes the ADL. And I think we should give these guys an excerpt of what that sounds like, what it reads.
He basically told the truth about the Jews on his platform. And again, like, this is a CIA officer. Was the head of the Bin Laden unit. He's got books out. He's very famous. He was, on Fox News many times. And he started to become a problem for the Zog. And after a while, he was not invited to things like that. And he's been slowly talking about the JQ, talking about the problems that we have with this one community. And so he lays everything, and you got to go read it. Give him the website one more time.
non-intervention2.com. Because
the number 2.
The number 2. It used to be non-intervention.com. I think they took it down, so now it's non-intervention2.com. This guy's a very credible American patriot. He ain't no bullshit.
Right. And he laid everything, all the problems that we are going through right now, at their feet. So you can start off, and then I'll follow up with you.
Yeah. So I'm going to read off this one portion right here, this paragraph. And he's doing something that no one does, which is calling out Jewish supremacists. No one seems to be able to call them out And they can't label you a liar, so they label you anti-Semitic, and that's a problem because it has to be addressed. He starts off, the answer is simple. Israel and what seems to be most Jewish Americans, by the way, you putting that on there? Okay. Israel and what seems to be what seems to be most Jewish Americans, the leaders and the led, are anti-America. In the Republic's current time of troubles, from 2015 to the present, a substantial number of Jewish American journalists, media and social media leaders and employees, think tanks, religious and political organizations, and apparently the great mass of Jewish American voters have fought for and successfully erased a domestic environment that was experiencing the start of a strong and prolonged period of economic growth, particularly for lower and middle class families. Jewish Americans were also in the lead for ending U.S. energy independence in the name of the climate fraud they and their allies champion.
Whoa.
In domestic politics, Jewish American professionals and intellectuals have led the normalization of inadequately funded police, supported and praised terrorist attackers from Black Lives Matter and Antifa, helped to impose gender terrorism on children, heaped constant hate, denigration, and humiliation on the American South, and wrecked the U.S. education system at all of its levels. Jewish Americans from many walks of life also are in the van of stoking and supporting racism towards whites, vilifying Christians and Christianity, refusing to prosecute black criminals, and protecting, the last one, and protecting pedophiles.
Read that last line again. Read that last line again.
Jewish Americans from many walks of life also are in the van of stoking and supporting racism towards whites,
Boom.
vilifying Christians and Christianity,
Boom.
refusing to prosecute black criminals,
Boom.
and protecting pedophiles.
Boom.
They're going to watch this thing and say, oh, white supremacy, oy vey.
Goy vey.
Goy vey, he's saying white supremacy. This is actually okay in in our languages. Like when you say this, it's like, this is like.
It has a lot of different meanings all across the world.
Actually, Circassians and I think Arabs, this is like a threatening sign, like dir balak, you know, like I'm gonna fuck
I'm
you
gonna
up.
get you.
Yeah, this is like just wait, you know, don't. So
Man, Michael Scheuer coming with the fire. In addition, and on personal note, I have to say that since I entered college in 1970 and thereafter became strongly interested in American politics, I have noted that on almost every issue that I decided that was worthy of either my vote or my opposition, Jewish Americans, and especially their organizations, billionaires, Hollywood moguls, journalists, media, and political, business, and social leaders stood in opposition to me and those who shared my views. They and their media supported unnecessary overseas interventionist wars, limitless abortions during and after pregnancy, open borders, and unlimited illegal immigration. Climate fanaticism and the fascist government needed to implement that fanaticism, anti-white racism, black supremacy, as long as the supremacists took direction from Jewish Americans. Sexual depravity of every description, medical tyranny, any amounts of limitations on free speech rights that Jewish American demands, abolition of the Second Amendment, Jewish American enslavement of the U.S. Congress in the cause of absolute support for soon-to-be-dying, vaccination-mad state of Israel. They are currently seeking to make second-class citizens and incarcerate those Americans who refuse to be killed by Fauci, Gates, and Soros. Woo!
damn. So
That is flames, and I've been waiting, man. I was telling Kimball this yesterday. I've been waiting for cats that know, people that are in the power structure, have been in the power structure, people that are in the intelligence agencies to come out and speak out about this. And I mean, the brother's only 70, and people are living a lot longer. He could have 20 years, ramming these truths down their throat. Hopefully, I think that he continues down this path, but you should read the whole thing and stay in touch with his website. Definitely listen to the podcast. Again, non-intervention2.com. intervention2.com. Definitely go check out the rest of the posts. We're not going to spend the whole time reading it to you. It's great, and there's a bunch of other great posts.